way to other homes across the world, whether it's in Europe or in America or in the United States or in Canada, wherever it is they want to go to find new homes. And why we do this is to help people to attain their potential. The reason I asked many of you who have joined the Telegram earlier today to join us on Telegram is so that you can know that this is not a touch and go thing. It's not a one-time effort to just, tell people about how fancy it is to move to the United States or how fancy it is to live in America. But the key thing is, how can we help you on that journey? And that's why I have been curating a couple of friends and colleagues and, mentors and partners who have gone through this journey. Like our guest tonight is someone that we have been together, we've lived together, we've worked together, we went to school together, we served in the same campus organization together for about 5 years. And we both saw like the rigors of dreaming from Nigeria and wanting to do something remarkable with your life. We all saw the rigor of what it takes to break the limits and the barriers that hold you down as a human. We all saw the rigor of using skills to differentiate yourself. We all saw the rigor of doing everything that needs to be done to position yourself for greatness. We all saw the rigor of what needs to be done to be a person of value, and people, countries, entities accepting you for that value, rewarding you with scholarship programs, rewarding you with fellowship initiatives. Dr. Shegun Seriki, who is on the call today, who, yesterday when I posted his picture on my WhatsApp, a gentleman who is also based here in the United States said, I met this guy when I was in China. He's a big hustler, man. Seriously, that was what he said about you. And then right from university, you'll remember that all of those things, because I think you were in civil engineering, back then in the university, there were things that we're trying to do, projects we're trying to do. This was no man who was running away from any of these projects. He was always committed to see, this new project, building project is going on, this new, remarkable opportunity is going on, really energetic. And I wasn't surprised when he went on internship first, and we started hearing fantastic news about how he was going to be getting on new platforms. And then from that internship, then he moved on to, come back to finish his degree, and then went on to do his master's through his scholarship or sponsored program in China. And then, of course, came back, I think for a bit, I'm not even sure for how long, came back to Nigeria, and then went on to do his PhD in Ireland, if I got the story right. So today, he's going to be walking us through his story, through his journey. And I've been doing this for quite some time. I bring people from the United States, from Germany, from other parts of the world, just to speak to my community, because I feel that there is nobody on this call today who cannot migrate legally to another country, who cannot move to a country where they are deserved, where they are requested for, where they are appreciated, where they are valued. And that's really what this is about. So we want to continue to give that support to you today. So feel free, ask a question. We will be monitoring both platforms, and again, I have apologized, and I asked my country manager to also apologize to the instructor that was teaching a class just before now. They usually round up at 9, but sometimes there's an overflow of time. But you see, all of you in this class, many of you in this class are actually in this, Python class to be able to find opportunities, that would enable you to secure international careers. So if I have an opportunity to bring a speaker that is very relevant to you, you guys will agree with me that that's a really good idea, to sort of like make sure that I merge both of it. So I wanted to bring you guys on another call before, but this bridge was a lot better to make sure that I secure all 20 something of you right on the call. I know some of you are on this call who are already in other countries already. People have joined our programs who are in Malaysia, who are in Germany, who are looking for ways and opportunities to move to their final destination. And, just using this to set some background, for even my speaker today, that these are people who have committed their time. The reason they are here with you on Zoom to be able to ask personal questions is because they committed not just their time, but their resources to a 1-year subscription of me supporting them continually, right? And then they are the very fine people who are on the other side on YouTube as well, are people who are spending their data tonight to basically learn. They probably have been people who watched my initial webinars, or they just found out about the Move Me in 12 months. The whole paradigm of Move Me in 12 months is that it takes at least 12 months. Not for everybody. It takes at least 12 months for you to be able to plan a proper relocation, particularly when you're moving abroad legally. Okay, so it's important for you to be able to chart that course over a 12 months period. Whether you're going through the Canada Express entry program, or you are going through the United States Extraordinary Ability Program, or you are going to education in any of these particular countries, whatever the case may be, you are preparing yourself, over a 12 months period. Now, for some people, it could happen 5 months. Dr. Shegun will tell you how long it told you, how long it took him rather, how long it took him to be able to like get his journey sorted, and he will take us through. And from time to time, I will interrupt him to sort of like ask him to expatiate a little more on something or describe a little more, and I'll be the one moderating the questions as well today. So I'm watching the questions that will be happening on YouTube, and I'm also watching the questions that will be coming alive on Zoom today, just to be able to make sure those questions are answered. So if you're just joining us, this is the Move Me in 12 Migrate Me to Ireland webinar. And today, over the next 90 minutes, we will be working with people to show them the pathway to moving to Ireland, to the Republic of Ireland, and also other parts of Europe that Dr. Seriki is experienced in, but also to be able to guide you guys and show you the opportunities that exist elsewhere, including places like Asia, where he has been a beneficiary. I see some of the students in the Python class still asking whether they are done for today. I thought I explained the rationale behind why this is going on. I think this is extremely important. And yes, the class for today is over. We didn't come into your class until 8:58. So pardon me for that again. I apologize. But I want to assure you it's for your greater good. So I hope you all appreciate and understand that, because we could have been doing this on this other side and allowing you to continue the Python class, but I don't want that to happen. So, and I've apologized to your instructor for badging him on him like that. Okay. So having said that, let's scratch that in case there are people who are just, who are just joining us who are wondering what all of that nuance is about. So now, yes, Funshaw, you can send it to you can send the Zoom link only to the January, February Coven Works classes. Those are the ones, because it's a limited class, but on the Telegrams, it has to be the other link. So please make welcome my guests. I will be unmuting him really quickly. I just asked him to unmute right now. Make welcome my guest, Dr. Shegun Seriki. Been a long time. You and I even had time to talk, but the spirit remains like connected. The kind of dreams we shared, the kind of
yes,
the bond, the spiritual bond we even share. Recently, when I was watching Reverend Femi Ogudare, just sharing some insights, with some people, and I mean, I had to share the link of his Facebook Live on my group, and I asked them, I said, "You are considering religion as a pathway moving abroad. You feel you have a calling on your life. Listen to this man, because he
okay,
prepared us to take the world. He showed us the maps of the world, islands we've never heard of before, and then as a spiritual person, showed us the pathway to moving our body. I mean, I try as much as possible not to, I want to be, sound. I want to be correct. I want to be correct. So I try not to like impose my own faith on people. But yeah, I shared it with some people and said, if you're really passionate about moving abroad and faith is a pathway for you, then listening to this man is going to definitely help you. So yeah, Shegun, good to see you on the call. Thank you so much
I
for doing this with me
I
today.
thank you very much, Ola. I'm really grateful for this opportunity. I'm excited to be here. As you can see that I'm smiling, I'm all smiles. I am always excited when I see people who are committed, not only with their time, but with everything they have, their resources, to ensure that they make their dream a reality. And thankfully, one of my roommates from my undergraduate days is here on this call, Mr. Shiji Omoli. Thank you for attending this call. He would know us from the very humble days, and he's a great person. Thank you so much, and Mr. Shola, I really appreciate this opportunity to speak to people. So tonight I will be speaking. It will be dynamic. I will be talking about, as he said, legal pathways that you can take to come to Ireland. And one of the key things I must mention, first of all, is that I finished from FUTA with a 2-2 result. So if you are here in this group or you're thinking, I'm a 2-2 graduate, I'm a third class graduate, that does not make any difference. So it doesn't make any difference at all. I hear someone just said from Akindeko Hall. Yeah, people in Akindeko know me very well. So yeah, I was in Akindeko for a long time. I spent almost 5 years in Akindeko Hall. So and here we are today. I went from FUTA. I finished with a 2-2 in FUTA. But as I said, why I'm starting off on that is because I don't want anyone here to feel constrained by their grades. I don't want anyone to feel that, oh, look, I don't have a first class result. I don't have a 2-1 and all of that. I finished with a 2-2 and it has not affected me from getting to where I am today. So coming to Ireland, I will try kind of trace my journey from Nigeria and then all the way down to China and then to Ireland, because it's just so that you can be informed and so that you get the full picture of my journey. So I finished in from Futa in 2011, and then I went for my service year in Rivers State. I was a teacher during my service year, so it wasn't really like I gained some form of hefty work experience. But thankfully, immediately I finished my service, I was able to get a job, a 50,000 naira job, and I moved to a second job around February 2012. No, February 2013. And I remember I received a call from a lady, my classmate, Iyobosa Uwadiaye, that's her name. She's on, yeah, she also has a PhD now, thankfully. And she's my colleague, she's my very beloved, lovely friend. And she rang me from the UK. And then she said, Shegun, why aren't you considering studying abroad? I said to her, I don't have money. My dad is a farmer, my salary is not even up to 100K. So, how do I travel out? I don't even have a passport. I was complaining for almost 30 minutes that I'm suffering. They are not paying my salary. And then she told me that, look, all of these constraints are in your mind. If you decide that you want to do it, you will get it done. And then she encouraged me to get a passport, first of all. I said, once you get the passport, things will start moving. And I decided, okay, I'm going to take the brave step. I got an international passport and I started applying to universities. And surprisingly, even with my 2-2 result, I got two scholarships. Now, why am I saying this? Is so that you are not kind of discouraged and say, no, my university did me something bad. That lecturer hated me. I had carryovers, so it wasn't something new to me, as it were. So, but despite the 2-2 result, I had a 50% scholarship at Robert Gordon University in the UK. And I was also able to get a partial scholarship to Tsinghua University, which is one of the top 10 universities in civil engineering in the world. Tsinghua University is in China, Beijing. So I decided to go to China because that's where the future of construction was. And also I looked at it that's where that's like a platform where everybody wanted to go. And I wanted to experience a new culture, a different culture and all of that. So I proceeded to China. Thankfully I finished with a first class result in China. I finished overall best in my set, actually. And you can imagine going from 2-2 in Futa in Nigeria to overall best in a top 10 university in the world. You can Google it. Tsinghua University is one of the top 10 in engineering in the world. What was the difference between what happened in Nigeria and what happened in China? To be honest, I say to you, is the environment. Because I was able to have 24 hours electricity, 24 hours internet access. So that way, you see, you are not unintelligent. You are not stupid. It's just the environment that you're in that is making you feel that things are not working. I have seen that happen consistently. The moment people leave the current environment that they're in and they move to a different environment, something changes. Someone who used to be a C student moves to be an A student. And from China, thankfully, that was a springboard for me. And all the training I had in Nigeria, as Shola said, all the training we had as students, all of it began to come forward. I was shortlisted as one of the top 100 leaders at the St. Gallen Symposium in Switzerland. And I started attending fully funded events. I was invited by governments and all of that. And I rushed down. So, but in 2015, I finished my master's and I went back to Nigeria, preferably because the person I wanted to marry was in Nigeria. And I had not seen her before, ever. That's the story for another day. It was just someone I liked before I left Nigeria, and I'd never seen her. So, and then I went back to Nigeria because I wanted to kind of see her in person and then talk to her. Eventually, while I was in Nigeria, I started applying for PhDs. And I actually finally got 3 PhD admissions. One was to the University of Melbourne, Australia. Another one was to the University of Auckland in New Zealand. And the third admission I got was to the Technological University in Dublin, Ireland. And I had 3 admission letters on my hand, despite the fact that I finished with a 2-2 from a Nigerian university. I had 3 PhD fully funded admissions as at August, there about 12, August 2015. I had 3 PhD admissions to hand. Then I decided to ask myself, okay, I spoke to my mom. My mom said, well, you are the only son, because I have only 3 sisters. I'm the only son. And then she said, Australia is too far away, because when I checked the flights, I would need to enter 3 flights to get to Australia. And then my mom said, no, that's too far. You will not come home at all. So I looked at New Zealand also. New Zealand was even farther than Australia. So my parents said, no, those are way too far. So eventually I decided to come to Dublin, Ireland. Yeah. So that's my journey in a bit of sentences. So on coming to Ireland, I will be talking tonight about 4 pathways. There are 4 ways you can come to Ireland. If you're looking to come to Ireland, there are 4 ways that you can come to Ireland.
There's a lot to unpack from that initial story. So let's break it down. Thankfully,
okay.
We're into the meat of the matter now, but already appreciating your transparency and all of that. Because this is something I keep having as an advice for my people. Before you got 3 PhD admissions that were fully funded, first you've talked about the factor of how your environment changed, transformed you. You were not a dullard. It's just that environment did not appreciate the value of what. And for those who care to know, with this is 2-2 connection, I also finished with 2-2. Not like we are super proud about the fact that
we're
2-2, because definitely now we know that excellence is important, but that environment did not value our type of learning, our priorities, and all of that. Now we got into a place that valued our priorities, and things began to change. So things being around once you were exposed to this opportunity for power, internet access, a different way of examining people, and all kind of things like that. But where I really wanted to ask you to double click on is this issue of getting admission to 3 universities. Now, people need to know, because Michael has talked about this, Michael Udwebo, our brother, Isaiah Olabi has talked about this as well. They have tried to explain that stop applying to 2 schools and expecting results from 2 schools. You need to do a bunch of applications because it helps you to get better, but also because that is when you would see the kind of. I don't know if that was your case as well. Did you apply
I would actually talk about that. That's an interesting one. I actually have a folder on my laptop that I use that I was documenting my PhD journey. And at the end of while getting the 3 letters, I actually found out that I had applied to over 100 PhD opportunities, over 100.
Did you hear that? 100.
Documented.
When I follow up with you, my friends in my group, when I follow, I say, have you started applying? You say, last week I applied to 1 school. 2 weeks ago, I applied to 3 schools. 100. You see,
over 100. Over 100.
Come on now.
And I applied to the point that even my mom was worried that I was going mad, because I would stay up until 4 a.m. Because in New Zealand, to attend their interview, you have to be up at midnight. So there was a day I was doing an interview for a PhD, and my mom was like, go and sleep. While I was doing it, I was like, mommy, no. She was like, you are every single night, you're on different calls, doing interviews. So I actually did over 100 applications over a 6-month period, meaning that I was getting an average of 3 hours sleep every night. So just because I really wanted that PhD position. And of course, I knew that I already had a disadvantage with my bachelor's degree, so I needed to go the extra mile by putting in more applications. My friend Michael, he almost finished with the first class, so he been having a PhD position is quite easy for him. But I finished with the 2-2, I knew that I needed to double my effort. So in fact, over 100 applications, I had to sacrifice money to buy a modem. What's the name of that, Star Times or something. There's a particular network in Nigeria where I bought a modem and I was applying. And one interesting thing was that while I was applying, I carried some of my friends along. One of my friends is in Malaysia at the moment, Victor Akongbe. It was that time period he also got kind of motivated to apply for his master's in Malaysia. And he was able to also do that. So I always say that.
I've told them Victor's story. We have a similar story as well. Victor also was in geophysics, brilliant gentleman, running business events, but he wasn't doing well, in that program. And then he went to Malaysia and finished with a distinction in public policy. Like, come on.
Yeah, exactly. So as Shola said, it's the environment once you change your environment, you will be amazed. You will be amazed at the level of impact, at the level of content that you even have on the inside of you. You'll be amazed at the level of content that you have on the inside of you once you leave that environment and you move to a different environment. So I say that the environment is very important, and also persistent tenacity. Do you understand? I applied, as I said, over 100 schools, and I will still bring you down to that journey after I finish my PhD. That's still one of the things, because a lot of people say, oh, I want to travel, but they don't even have a long-term plan. And I think that's one of the things that Shola is very good at. Is very good at strategic planning and planning long-term, not just over a 1 year period. Helps you plan beyond that 1 year period. That's one of the things that he's very skilled at doing. So I think that's one of the benefits that you would get being part of this group that you are in. So I arrived Ireland specifically on the 30th of September in 2015. So, but on going back to Nigeria, I need to just mention something that in China, after my first year, I decided to go get a job. And the reason why I wanted a job was because I didn't want to go back to Nigeria empty-handed. So I was able to actually get a full-time job while I was studying. While I was studying, I got a full-time job. And the company I was working for in China actually got me to go with them to Nigeria to help them start up a branch in Nigeria. So the name of the company is Sika. I went with them to Nigeria. We started up the branch. And once the branch was up and running, once I got my PhD admission, I left. Now, on getting to Ireland, I came in through the primary method, which is studies, which is education. But I have not only used the education route. I have used two types of visas since I got to Ireland. I've used the education route and I've used the researcher route. And I will come to that in a moment. Now, the education route is the primary and easiest method. No, it's not the easiest. There's another visa that's easiest, which is I will get to that in a moment. So the study route is bachelor's, master's, PhD route. And that's, it's called a student visa. If you get a student visa in Ireland, you're allowed to work for 20 hours a week. So 20 hours a week, you're allowed to work for 20 hours a week, which is, and the minimum wage here is like 10 euro plus per hour. So if you're lucky, if you get a job that pays you more than that, in a week, you'll be averaging 200 euros plus per week. And in the average, in a month, you're getting close to 1,000 euros a month, which in Naira is it's almost 500, no, it's almost 600,000 Naira now. So that's if you are working part-time and all of that. So the student visa allows you to work for 20 hours a week. And in Ireland, if you study a bachelor's, you are given a 1 year post-study visa. If you study a master's, there are two kinds of masters in Ireland. We have a master's by research and we have a taught master's. A master's by research is the one where you you don't really attend classes. You're only doing your own research. You're in the lab, that one, you get the letter. I mean, that's the one where you approach the professor and the professor gives you a master's position in his lab and all of that. It's for 2 years. And after the 2 years, you get a 2 year post-study visa. So the 2 year post-study visa is that after you finish the master's, you can stay for 2 years working without having to get a work permit. You get a work permit, but the work permit is called a postgraduate work permit. So that's if you do a master's by research. If you do a taught master's, which is the standard master's, which is 9,000 euro, you can work for 20 hours a week and you can get a 2 year post-study visa also after you finish. But if you do a PhD, you also get a 2 year post-study visa after you finish. And a PhD in Ireland is usually funded. Also, a master's by research is usually funded. So usually master's by research positions are usually funded. So if you write to the professors in charge of it, they'll be happy enough to help you. So the student visa route is so unique in that while there is a limit to the kind of jobs you can do, there is also no limit, as it were, to the kind of jobs you can do. Why I'm saying this is that while I was a student, I was able to do reviews even for the government of Ireland, even on a student visa. A position, a consulting gig came up, and I saw it and I applied for it. And I only worked for, I think, around 3 weekend. I mean, 3 days on a weekend, and I was paid 3,500 euros. Now, why am I saying this? Is to let you know that there are opportunities, but it depends on the kind of opportunities you're looking for. So, but of course, I know someone who just came in September. She already got a job around October, thereabouts. You understand? So the job market in Ireland is very lucrative. I must say to you, as long as you're willing to work, as long as when I first came to Ireland, before I got my lecturing job, I was actually delivering posts. I was a post boy. I was delivering letters to people's houses. I would just take my bicycle, because I learned how to ride a bicycle in China, and then I used my bicycle to just deliver stuff to people and all of that. And with that money, I was able to pay off a lot of things, extra stuff, even though I was on a scholarship. Do you understand me? So that's on the side. For PhDs, you usually get funding. For masters, for a student visa, you have 20 hours of work each week. So most universities would have classes on Monday, Tuesdays, and a Friday. So you have Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, and a Sunday free. So you can decide to work any of those days if you wish. That's for 20 hours only. You can't work more than 20 hours. So, but if you are in academia like myself, instead of in academia, our pay is different. For example, the standard minimum wage is 10 euro per hour. In academia, if you're a lecturer or you're a teacher, for instance, you get paid 60 euro per hour, which is 6 times what the average person earns. I know for software developers and for data analysts, they get paid per day. They get paid around 600 euro or so per day. So, which is quite a lot of money. That means that they can make in 1 week what a normal person makes in 1 month. So they get paid around 600 euro per day. That's for people who are into data analysts, data analytics, data scientists, and all that. So if you have a part-time job in all of those places, it's one of the areas where you can easily make a lot of money. So that being said, that's the student visa. And on the student visa part, how do you need around 12,000 euros for a student visa. The reason why I said 12,000 euros is that 9,000 euros for the fees, and then you need to show proof that you have extra funds for rent, for feeding, and all of that. So you're looking at around 12,000 euros, which in Naira will be around, say, 6 million Naira or 7 million Naira thereabouts. That's if you are coming on a self-sponsorship basis. But if you are coming on a scholarship basis, then you don't need to show proof. For example, when I was coming to Ireland, all I needed to show was just I had some money in my account. Once you are on a scholarship, you don't need to have lots of money loaded in your account. All you need to have is maybe some money that can last you up until the end of the month when you get your first pay and all of that. So if you are lucky enough, if you get a scholarship, you'll be happy enough to kind of come here. If you have 300,000 in your account, you'll be issued your visa anyway. So, but if you don't get a scholarship, you are coming on a self-sponsored basis. The benefit is that after your master's, you get a 2-year post-study visa, and you can work in any industry with that 2 years visa. So, but I will move on and I will say some other things about that 2-year post-study visa. The reason why I'm saying this is that at the end of the 2 years, that's one of the reasons why you must be strategic. I never used the post-study visa after my PhD. And the reason why I didn't use it is because I found out about another kind of visa that a lot of people don't talk about. A lot of people don't even know about. And the visa is called a researcher hosting agreement visa. With a bachelor's from Nigeria, a guy from Covenant University got that visa because he knew about it. Now, why am I saying this to you? That researcher hosting agreement visa is for people who are coming here to do research. So, for example, if a university or even a company has a research project, they can hire you, but the only requirement is that you must have a bachelor's. So they can hire you directly from Nigeria and bring you down to Ireland to do that project for them. As long as the project is more than 6 months, then you can, it's called a researcher hosting agreement visa. You can Google it. Researcher hosting agreement visa. It's for 2 years, and immediately that 2 years expires, you get the permanent residence. Immediately the 2 years expires, you get permanent residence. A lot of people chase after the post-study visa, but they don't chase after this visa. After the post-study visa, you still have to get a general employment permit and then stay on it for another 2 years before you get permanent residence. But for the researcher hosting agreement visa, all you need is 2 years on that visa, and then you move straight to your permanent residence visa, which is a stamp 4. That's what we call it here, a stamp 4. So this researcher hosting agreement visa, it goes across different industry. It could be any industry. It could be pharmaceutical, could be sciences. The guy that I know from Covenant, he has knowledge of blockchain technologies. So there's a university that was doing a research on blockchain. They hired him for that project, and he came all the way from Nigeria. So he didn't need to apply for a work permit. And that's the good thing about the researcher hosting agreement visa. All they need to give to you is just a piece of paper, like 4 or 5 pages. And that's it. That is your agreement. You don't need to go and apply for visa at the embassy or anything. That document, the researcher hosting agreement visa, once you have that researcher hosting agreement, all they will just do is that they will put a notice on the immigration portal, and then you can access the country. So that's the researcher hosting agreement visa. That's the second kind of visa. Now, the third kind of visa is equivalent to what Canada is doing at the moment, which is called the express entry in Canada. In Ireland, it is called the critical skills visa. And it is one of my colleagues who works in Google. He works in Google, he's Nigerian. He came under that visa. Several Nigerians are coming to Ireland now with that visa. But the only problem, and be thankful for someone like Mr. Shola who is sharing these opportunities. Many Nigerians don't share these things. They just keep it under their locker, and they keep it only for them and their family members. You understand me? So, but a lot of Nigerians have been joining tech companies with the critical skills visa. A lot of Nigerians have been becoming software developers. There's a guy that came recently to Google. The guy has never left. He has never even left Lagos. Talk less of Nigeria. He has never traveled from Lagos. You understand? And now he's moving to Google in Ireland. So via the critical skills visa. The critical skill visa is actually a visa that is meant for around, I think, 64 occupations. So medical professionals, IT professionals, business and research professionals, finance professionals. So for example, you're a finance professional, you can get a visa. If you're a business researcher, if you're actuarial, even graphics designers. Graphics designers are listed out of, just Google critical skills visa Ireland. You will find a list of occupations. I was surprised today when I checked, when I saw that graphics designers are one of those who are actually listed. So if you're a graphics designer, you could actually be on your way to Ireland without you knowing it. So, but then all you have to do is to apply to a company, and I will tell you how easy it is to actually apply to a company without a visa, because I did it. I was a student. I didn't have a visa. Before I finished my PhD, actually, I moved to the researcher hosting agreement visa. So actually, once you are interviewing with a company, don't tell them about your visa status at the start. If your CV can convince them, let them interview you, let them give you a contract. After they give you a contract, then you say to them and say, well, there's an issue, which is that I need to apply for the hosting agreement or the critical skills visa. And once you have the contract, all you need to do is just to go to the portal, the critical skills portal, upload your contract, upload your visa application, and that's it. And within 8 weeks stops, your critical skills visa will be ready. It's always ready between 4 to 8 weeks. So I think 4 weeks is the minimum, 8 weeks is the maximum. And I think there are around 64 occupations that are listed on the critical skills visa list. So if your occupation, if your job function is in one of those, if it's in one of course, data science, AI, all of that, they are in high demand in Ireland at the moment. Even within academia, we are looking for researchers in AI, in machine learning. You understand me? They are hot cake at the moment. They are hot on the market. I mean, even in academia, we are looking to hire them. Do you understand? So it's one of the areas, it's one of the easy areas which you can use the critical skills visa for. So the critical skills visa is the third kind of visa. And the final one is the General Employment Permit, which is similar to the UK visa that is on now for employment. Now, the General Employment Permit requires that you have a minimum salary of 22,000 euros, a minimum salary of 22,000 euros, and you have a contract that takes you at least 39 hours working week. So in each week, you must have a contract of at least 39 hours, and then you must have an average salary of 22,000 euros, which is very easy to get anyway. So also that's the General Employment Permit. But I must say to you, the General Employment Permit has a caveat. And the caveat is that before you can be issued a General Employment Permit, the company who is offering you the job needs to do something called a market test. So if you apply for a General Employment Permit, you are looking at waiting at least 6 months before you can actually resume the job. Because what happens is that they need to, first of all, take the job and advertise it in the whole of the European Union. If they can't find anybody to actually take it up, then they can now give the job to you. So they need to advertise it for at least a month or two in the European Union. If there is no one who applies for that same role in the EU, then they can give it to you. That's the danger of the General Employment Permit. It's always very difficult to get. Only those who get it easily are those in the agricultural sector, fruit pickers, food processors, and people who work in the butchers who actually cut meat and all of that. Yeah, so they are the ones that easily get the General Employment Permit. So I've listed 4 different kind of pathways that you will be able to use to come to Ireland. Number 1 is the student pathway, which is the most feasible for people in the youth category. The second one is the researcher hosting agreement, which is also very useful for you guys in the data science, data analytics area. The third one is the critical skills, which is very useful for medical professionals, IT professionals, business and research professionals, finance professionals, graphics designers, and all of that. It is actually virtually equivalent to the Canadian Express entry, except that you don't have to do IELTS for this one. You don't need IELTS. All you need to do is just to have a job offer. That's all. So I would say to you, you can be in Nigeria and migrate to Ireland directly via a job. And the fourth kind of visa is the General Employment Permit, which I said that it is much harder to get because the job has to go first to the EU before it comes back to you. So those are the 4 key areas for my experience that I have seen. And I'll talk about my experience now. So I didn't want the post-study visa because I felt that the post-study visa would not be good for me because I have a wife and a child. So I decided that, because the post-study visa does not allow you to bring your wife and your child. That's the only downside to the post-study visa. It only covers you as a person. That's the only downside to it. So in exceptional cases, they can give it to your wife, but then your wife cannot work. So which is not ideal. Yeah, so it's zero sum so that's one of the reasons why when I was getting to the end of my PhD, I decided to look at all those 4 visa categories. I already had the student visa. Then I look at the critical skills. I am not an IT person. I'm not a software developer. Of course, I've started doing HTML, Python, and the rest of them. I know them to a large extent, but all I can do is just build a website. I can't do more than that. So, but then I decided that definitely I don't qualify. I don't qualify for the critical skills visa. And I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a graphics designer, and all of that. So I decided that the best thing for me to do is to use the researcher hosting agreement. And that's what I used. And so while I was doing my interviews, actually, I got almost 4 offers while I was doing the interviews, 4 different offers of jobs, and all of them were willing to actually process the visa for me.
Offers, how many applications?
In terms of application, I have to say to you that I lost count. There was a day I was doing interviews so much that I didn't know which company I was interviewing for again. Like, I'd done so many interviews that day. I was not like, okay, is this company? Oh, it was the last one I did, sorry. So, I was on suit, but I was doing interviews to the point that I had 4 interviews on the same day. So I didn't even know which company I was interviewing with anymore while I was doing the interview.
Are you looking for a job? They say yes. And you apply for 1 job per month.
No.
You
No,
got to
no, no. That's not. When I was doing my job search, I averaged 5 job applications per day, every day, every day,
come
and I
on.
would stay up. I would stay up all night doing it, and it's because I know that I am in a country where I don't have. I can't get the critical skills. I have friends, Nigerians. There are a lot of friends in Facebook, Google, who are just from Ikeja. They have never, boys that they don't even, they're just from Ikeja, they're from Agege, you understand? They just came to Ireland directly. They are the tech guys. You guys are the tech guys. You guys can do anything. You are the experts. Do you understand? So you guys are the guys Facebook is looking for. And Facebook hires people directly from Nigeria. If you
Direct.
go to Facebook Island, you think you're in Nigeria. They actually have a chef. I've been to Facebook before, and that's what I'm telling you. They have a Nigerian chef that cooks Nigerian food. That's tell you the number of Nigerians that are working there. Go to LinkedIn and check how many Nigerians are working in Google Island. I'm telling you, there's so many Nigerians working there. Go to Amazon and check. There's so many Nigerians working in Amazon. And you guys are the future of that. You guys are the future, guys. And I always say, any Nigerian that comes to Ireland, usually I like welcoming them. So you're welcome. If when you finally arrive to Ireland, I'll be happy.
Chairman of the welcoming committee.
So I'll be happy enough to.
We have a welcoming. I joined the welcoming group in Dallas as well.
Okay.
Didn't allow us to. Yeah, a bunch of Nigerians trying to welcome people. Like, there is just this. Indians, Chinese, Asians generally, they do this so much. They're like, where do you want, which work do you want to do? As long as, you are here and you have that growth mindset, we have this welcoming dinners we organized pre-COVID and all of that. And I can't wait to get back to all those again. So definitely,
that's true.
If you want to, I just want to backpedal a little. I know there's still a lot that we can share, and we still have, I think, fairly about 30 minutes, with question and answers as well. What you've done today, I don't know what to compare it with, but it's complete and expose. People are buzzing. Over 130 of them on YouTube are buzzing, and this is crazy because you have been able to break it down to show people, hey, what I see in my groups predominantly, and I'm happy to share this with you, the fact that a lot of Nigerians are very ambitious and aspirational, and that solves 50% of the problem because we are aspirational. The next 50% is knowing the way, knowing the actual way to get this thing done.
That's
and then
true.
there's a 10-20% of taking action after you've learned about the way, because that one is, it's like a Pareto. Is that 20% at 80% effect? That's actually taking action. It's a 20% because it's small, but it requires a lot of grit, a lot of commitment, and all of that. So I see many of them when I start talking about education as a pathway, they're like, I didn't say I want to do a master's, Jare. I didn't say the question I'm really asking you is, do you want to move? If they say this 12-month program is what we move you, my brother,
that's true.
Do this. Even if you like education in the first instance, go on and do it. And if you want to go as a worker, then learn critical skills.
That's it.
Will be coming on the session next week, Wednesday, I think, for Germany. 2 of them are based in Germany. He got the job right from Nigeria. She thought it was a fraud. They reimbursed her all the money she paid for the work permit. Only 1 year after she had to leave that company, move to another company. She said, she gets an average of 2 job offers a week.
That's it.
And this is somebody who is in product management. She said she doesn't want to code.
Many people don't even know that I don't lecture anymore. I stopped lecturing more than 2 years ago. Imagine. I don't lecture anymore. I've been working from home since March 15th last year. I don't teach. I don't teach. All I do at the moment is what they call research management.
Wow.
And essentially people just write proposals, send it to me, I check it, you understand? And I get paid big bucks for it. Wow. That's all. So I don't teach, I don't shout, holding marker or holding pen, or I don't deal with students. No, all I do at the moment is what I call research management. And as I always say to people, my current job, when I saw the requirements, they wrote it there for sure, 5 years post PhD experience, and I had not even finished my PhD.
Tell me about that.
I was like, well, let's go for it. And I went to the interview, and when they looked at my CV, they were like, you are just coming here to waste our time. And I said to them, no, at least, are you going to allow me to present? And they said, okay, yeah, talk. They gave me 30 minutes presentation to present. And do you know what even happened? I actually presented a topic that was, because as I said to you, I was mixing up my interviews because I had too many interviews. I actually presented something that was not what they asked me to present. But the way I did it and the number of data that I presented in that presentation, a woman on the panel said, you did so much research to prepare this presentation. We have to ask you questions further. And they started asking questions, almost 2 hours. And at the end of the 2 hours, they just said to me, okay, we have so many people who have better qualified than you, so we don't know if we're going to bring you in. But at the end of it all, and then they came back to me and said, what happened is that the pay for the role is actually for someone that has 5 years postdoctoral experience. Because you are only just finishing up a PhD and you have not even finalized it, we're going to take about 20,000 euros from it. And I said to them, no, I'm not taking the 20,000 euro cut.
No way.
I said, it's either that salary, or nothing. And I told them, I said to them, I already have 2 other offers from competing places from university. This other university is offering me this, and another university is offering me that. So it's either this, and the HR lady was shocked. It was like, this guy is actually bargaining. And I believe that that's one of the things Oshola will teach you later on in terms of bargaining salary. And I stood my ground. I told her that, well, if I don't get what is advertised online, I'm not taking the job. And then one day they just came back after like a week and asked me, oh yeah, sign the contract. This guy just sign and leave us alone and let us go and all of that. Until date, I've not even seen any of my colleagues. The people I work with, I've not seen any of them. I don't even know them. I've not seen them face to face. We only see on Zoom call. We've not met in person. So, that's where confidence comes in. That's where when going through this process, keeping applying, talking to people, you start attending seminars like this. It gives you the confidence that if this person can do it, then I can also. So that's how I would have taken a 20,000 euro pay cut, just because I felt that I was underqualified. So, but then I didn't let it go. I said no. And under 2 months again, I just looked at my portal and I saw again that they have put another few thousand euros on top of the salary again. I said, well, no problem. Keep going, guys. So I'm not the one to complain. I won't complain. So I just keep going. So that's how it is. And funny enough, my boss just rang me and said, look, your work has been excellent. Would you like to work from home for the next 5 years? I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? Let me work from home. I'll use that money for transport. I'll use to go buy mortgage. You understand? So that's how it is. That's how it is. So why I'm saying this to you is so that you don't lose confidence. People who know me very well know my dad. My father is a farmer in Nigeria. You understand me? It's not like I'm from a wealthy. My trip to China was my very first time on a plane. I've never entered local flights before. I just used to look at plane in the air. You understand? So going for my master's was my first time of ever stepping into a plane. But since then, I believe that it's been upward and forward. So you never know if this one jackpot journey will be the one that will open doors for you. So I don't want you to kind of sit back and say, I'll do it tomorrow. I don't want you to say that, no, I do it next week. Start today, start now. Because I know some of you are going to be congratulating you in a few months from now. I know September, I will be seeing some of you here in Ireland. And by then, we would have gotten the vaccine. So definitely, I can welcome you all. Thank you for listening.
That's what I'm talking about. Look, guys.
That's it.
You have to take action. Look, many people who have gone on this journey were not people of means. They were not people of means. Some of you are here. You've worked for 5 years, 8 years. Some of us didn't have that kind of opportunity. Some of you have flown airplanes from different countries to another, from one place to another. And then some of you who have backgrounds like us as well. The point is, what we're saying is, none of those things is a determining factor in getting yourself up to the place you want to get to in life. Once you're determined, and the basics of this, I want you to quickly touch on the place of personal research as far as this is concerned. Did you use an agent at any time? Because in our jackpot paradigm, we try to tell people, don't use agents.
That's true.
People won't do it for me, except you have a real reason why they should do it for you. For example, if you've had a really poor educational background and your writing is very bad, I usually encourage people, you can't use the next 12 months to be learning to write. Get
That's
someone
true.
who
That's
can
true.
help you with your statement of purpose. Those are the scenarios that I look for.
That's
So I
true.
say, don't outsource the entire process.
That's true. That's
Outsource
true.
specific components like, oh, I don't know IELTS. At least somebody will for IELTS for you, but at
That's
least they
true.
can coach you and you can pay
That's
for it.
true.
So I say,
That's
but
true.
don't let an agent come and say
That's
one
true.
million and you will be in Ireland. There are people who do
That's
not
true.
feel that they're not confident enough to write a statement of purpose, not confident enough to be able to get their account statement, not confident enough about anything. Those ones I say, okay, find an educational consultancy
That's
that can
true.
help you because there will always be people like that. And
That's true.
why how I got to this point is I started thinking in the way, my mentor always says that never confuse what is easy for you for what is easy at all.
That's
So
true.
I stopped generalizing and say, can't you do it? Can't you do it? But you see, if you do personal research, I have seen that you can't still throw that away. So
At
can you
all. At all.
research in finding a
Yeah.
school? Because some of the questions
Okay.
we call is, sir, can you give me 5 schools in Ireland? How did
Okay.
you how did you start finding schools?
Okay.
Tools you use? I want specifics this time around, and I think that
Yeah.
was well.
Okay, thank you for that. Well, I think all my academic journey, I have never used an agent. Even to the point of registering for IELTS or TOEFL, I have never used one. And the reason why I've never used one is because I feel that for example, an agent will not stay up until 4 a.m. searching for a school for me. Do you understand? So, and I know an agent, after 10 schools, they'll get tired. You understand? But for me, I don't get tired. I keep going. I keep firing on. You understand? So I think one of the tools I have used, as I said, Google is always your best friend. Google. Then also when you identify people that are done well in a specific area. For example, the school I chose to go, and when I chose to go to China, I went to check if I'm leaving the UK for China, what school am I going to? And I went to check Tsinghua University, one of the best in the world. So I saw that going to this school will place me on a global platform where I will be able to compete even better than someone who went to Robert Gordon in the UK. So, and then I decided, look, I am going to apply to the top schools in China and then maybe some mid-tier schools in the UK. So I did my own research. I prepared for my own TOEFL. I wrote TOEFL then. The last TOEFL I wrote TOEFL. TOEFL is graded at 120. I scored 113 to the point that they didn't want to release my results. They were like, guy, what's happened now? 113. That was 2015. Now, and I didn't go to any tutorial. I didn't go anywhere. I just downloaded the materials online. I contacted a friend in the US and I said, look, how do I prepare? And then he sent me on some materials, some online materials, and said, look, as long as you practice. So I started practicing and all of that. And I scored very high on that exam. Every single step of my admission processing has been done personally by myself. Now, I'm not castigating if you decide to outsource a portion of that statement of purpose. For instance, sometimes you need a guide to actually do that, especially if you're applying to scholarships. So sometimes you need to kind of put in the right keywords, and all of that. Because some people say, I'm going to Ireland to stay for the next 10 years. If you even say that one, they're not going to give you admission. It's like, so you have to kind of weave it around your future career. You have to weave it around the long-term goals and all of that. Some people will say, the moment I leave Nigeria like this is the end. I'm leaving for good. I want to come and develop the economy of Ireland. Bro, you are not coming to develop the economy of Ireland. There's people who are going to do all of that. And there's a place of research.
You have a joke with Isaiah and Michael.
Yeah.
Your vision statement should be
Exactly.
how you're going to come back to Africa to transform the continent of Africa.
Exactly. And that's
your purpose can be updated from time to time.
and that's even the long-term goal. I have been to I work with the African Development Bank for consulting projects. I do gigs for them. I do consulting gigs for the African Development Bank. So I do reviews for them. I do evaluation reports for them. I am an engineer. I'm not a finance person, but I do work with the African Development Bank. Do you understand? So, and also here with the EU Commission, I also do work that are based on Africa. I do reviews for proposals. I do funding approvals for African projects. So that is part of my vision for Africa. I am actually touching the continent from where I am. So, but then it's not like you are lying when you say you want to come and develop your country. You are actually adding value back to Africa when you actually are in your position, or you could be in London, you could be in the US, you could be in Ireland, and yet you are still making impact. Do you understand me? So your letter should not be saying like, oh, if I should live like this, bye bye to Nigeria or Buhari and this. No, no, no. You shouldn't be doing that. You understand me? You should always link it back to the long term. And that's the reality. Because in the long term, we can't stay away forever. Even if you are jacked by it, of course, once in a while, a lot of us will still come back to actually contribute. And a lot of us are actually doing it. When you find out, yeah. There are a lot of people, for example, Mr. Shola, what he's doing at the moment, he's influencing thousands on the African continent by doing this, by getting them ready for the jobs of tomorrow. And I can tell you that anyone who is in this AI, all of that, as I am with my PhD, I was still on data camp recently, doing my Python. That's the reality, because that is where the future is going. Even in construction now, every of our proposal, if we don't put in AI or machine learning, just know that that proposal is not getting funded. If you are in medical field, if you are not putting in AI, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, just forget it. You are most likely not getting funded. Even to the point of the social sciences, everything is all centered around AI, machine learning, virtual reality, and all of that, computer vision. Do you understand me? So it's very important. You are on the right path if you are part of this journey and all of that. So it's very important that you always link it back to your long-term goals. Do you understand? So, but if you need help, please reach out to people who can help you. But then, as Shola said, don't outsource the whole process. Be engaged in it, because especially for people whose universities do interviews, if somebody does the whole process for you and they call you for an interview and then you're like, no. For example, the interview that got me my job, all the people on the panel, before the day of the interview, I'd gone to their LinkedIn profile, I read everything about them. So while I was talking, I was able to say, Gene, oh, thank you for your question, Gene. John, thank you for your question, John. Thanks, Paul, for your question. And I was just replying them by name. I was not saying, excuse me, sir. No, that's not it. You understand?
That's bad.
Exactly.
I remember when I was doing my interview at Microsoft, I had the opportunity of having someone within Microsoft that reached out. You should always do this. If you're ever called for an interview for any of these jobs, try to reach out to anybody who works in that company. And
True.
Like not just one person, reach out to several of them, and then try to tell them you'll be having an interview with social person next week. Do we have any tips for you and all of that? And actually, it was really, really good, because once they told me, this person likes his numbers. So like, John, I know you're someone who really likes numbers. So let me tell you statistics of this and this and this. And if you can't get somebody within the organization, it could be from reading something about them online. Say, I remember you an article in the Insider just a few months ago about this and this, and this is why I want to work with you on this. Never really without that you don't mention the name of the professor you are considering that school to supervise you. That's what agents, many of the agents that are taking all that end to end will not be able to do that for you. I recommend an education consultancy called Placement within our programs, because I told the gentleman that look, many of these guys, because if they do everything for you, you're likely not going to succeed. Even
that's
in that
true.
Have you seen? Talk to me last month. Some guy, they did all his process for him. When he got to the UK, he still told them that he's about to that exam now. That is anybody that can help him with the exam, because he wants to work. That he's working so hard he can't even write the assignments. I'm like, what is going on here? That's not what we're talking about.
That's sad. That's
why
terrible.
I don't try to get everybody on board. This program is a program that would help people who have positive intentions. Even if you don't have the skills today, there are people who have come on this program, I've gotten them to go and do a data science program, to become a chatbot engineer. Your background notwithstanding, you can get on these things. There's about 25 people on this call now on Zoom who were just learning Python for data science. We had to interrupt their class. When these guys, by the end of this year, I have no doubt, they're getting job offers from everywhere.
That's it.
They are looking for people. Now, the interesting thing, domain expertise, a civil engineer that knows AI.
That's it.
AI. The construction person that knows AI.
Everywhere.
It's AI. They're looking for domain experts everywhere.
High demand.
Because people have asked me questions. Our dear friend, mutual friend, Dimeji reached out to me, like, Hey, Shego told me is coming on your gig because the Meji also has helped a lot of people, on this pathway to Italy, and he has come on our Instagram sessions. So the Meji is one of the people like who looks out for my work online and he challenges me. And one of those days he was like, which one is Jackpa again, Shola? You're an AI evangelist. I have to tell him what the connection is for me. Our
That's
company
true.
mission at Coven Works is to build tomorrow's workforce. It's
Talent,
to
yeah.
build tomorrow's workforce. And in building tomorrow's workforce, what we saw that we needed to do is basically, hey, what are those jobs of the future? And what is preventing Africans from partaking in the global workplace?
That's
Because the
true.
skills we have right now is not enough to be able to position us for the global workspace, for the
That's true.
global workforce. People don't know that migration itself is a global concept.
That's
Migration,
true.
over 621 million people have been moving around the world, move around the world almost every year. In a
That's
world of
that,
6
that
billion people.
that's correct. I was just gonna say something now that a lot of Nigerians have recently been celebrating Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. But do you know that if that woman did not move to the US, she wouldn't be the DG of. If she'd not japa to the US, she'd not be the DG of WTO today. Do you understand? If Dr. Akiwumi Adesina did not japa to the US, it would not become the chair of AFDB today. If who else now? Dr. Obiageli Ezekwesili didn't move to the World Bank, they wouldn't be in the US. I mean, they wouldn't be where they are today. So all these guys we are celebrating, all these Nigerians, all these Africans on the global stage that we are celebrating. If Tijan Tiam, the former CEO of what's the name of this bank now? What's it called? I'm trying to. Is it CBS now? If he didn't move to England, he would have become the chairman of that bank. So migration in itself gives you leverage. As you know, the president of France, Macron, he had his internship in Nigeria, and that because of that global mindset, even the worst of the dictators, what is his name, Kim Jong Un in North Korea, he had his education in Switzerland. So it is that concept that gets people into leadership positions. So if you are not a global person, your relevance is going to be very limited. If you are
Yeah.
not a global person, your relevance is going to be
I
extreme.
wish we can continue like this. This is so deep. I wish we can continue, but I've told people buy data for 1 hour, 30 minutes. And
That's it.
in my last webinar, I was a little on the edge because I felt like
Okay.
I'm giving people this thing for free. And then people were challenging me around 12 midnight and saying,
They want their data back.
I'm like, what is going on? But then I went back a little because my wife is teaching me a lot of empathy. And I felt
True,
like, hey,
true.
people are going through a lot to even get internet access in
I
Nigeria.
know.
So even though what I'm telling them is the right thing, is what they need for their life,
True,
I want to be able to
true.
put myself in their shoes. So I promised people and said, go get data that will last you for 1 hour, 30 minutes. I want us to keep it that way. But I want to finally emphasize before I allow people to ask 1 or 2 questions. I want to emphasize real quick the reason we're doing what we're doing. And I think I've tried to share with some of our friends as well. I feel very strongly that coming to the US has enabled me to do more things in Nigeria than I could do when I was in Nigeria itself.
True, true,
I'm
true,
obviously in school
true.
for my birthday. I started last year. I'm going to get on it again this year. An entire school that I used to walk by, for many years has not been, bastard, is in a very terrible shape. I'm building a university called Curators University, and we're in the process of acquiring actual physical space of nearly 200 acres over the next 3 years to build a university that would be, because whether you like it or not, there's still going to be 250 million people in Nigeria over the
That's
next
true.
decade. So the few of us who have this opportunity, who are doing this, must have the purpose in mind that we're living so that we can help. We're not living because we want to live fully, but we would not stay in
True.
Nigeria at the expense of our potential. That's what
That's true.
Additional did. That's what Konjo Wela did. That's what many of these people that you celebrate today did. They live even Obaseki, even Ikechi Oke, that's the MD of Afri Invest, who is the partner of Obaseki, in their investment company that led the buyout of companies, the mergers and acquisition of companies 2008, that brought the likes of GT Bank and other banks to the top 25 banks in Nigeria. All these guys went to Yale, they went to Princeton, they
That's
came
true.
and
True.
acquired this knowledge Now it's
True.
their choice if they want to go back, and it will be your choice as well. But what we are realizing is that when you get here, you begin to see a new level of privilege and opportunity that makes you feel like Africa cannot continue like this, because the
True.
dictators, the people who are calling the shots in the continent of Africa, the West will continue to do that for their own benefit. But if you're
That's
from that
true.
soil and you have the resources, I'm talking hundreds of millions of dollars, you can easily come out and start a research center.
That's
We,
true.
in our organization, we just donated a center for artificial intelligence to a university. I would not have been able to do that if survival was still my instinct right there in Nigeria.
That's
So
true.
that's what
True.
we're telling you. So get ready for this. And I hope in like 10 years, Shegun, we're going to have multiple people, highly placed
Definitely.
in different organizations around the world, research centers, will
That's true.
literally the same way an Indian could rise to become CEO of Google and Microsoft. These are people who were not born in America. They came to
That's true.
America. So
That's
literally,
true.
you can go to Ireland and within your 40s be the CEO of Google Island while
That's
you are
true.
while you are there. And
That's
this is
true.
possible. And for those of you on this call, you're like, hey, tech. I don't even know what they're talking about. It's not your choice anymore. I wish I
True.
studied non-technology field so that I will be able to make this point better. Because some of you will think it's because I study computer science. That's why it's easy for me to have these conversations. But I've seen people like my brother who is on this call right now, who studied English language, or is a technical program manager at Works right now, and is written a book of Python. So I mean, it's amazing how you can shift your life when you are determined to do it. I put a couple of links that can help as sessions are going on. One of them is the Java Insider. I made a bunch of free videos, and I'm still going to put this replay of this one there as well. Video by Michael Udwebo and myself. Video by one of my really, really, really good ones in the United States, as some of you know, Major Adebayo Adeleke, who is also a professor at Samir State University, who came on one of the sessions to tell us how to get into that school. The entire school, Sam Houston State University, go check it out. Sam Houston State University. They are taking people who study mathematics and statistics in Nigeria and giving them scholarship up to PhD level for anything they want to do in mathematics and the complete field. He came on the call to explain that. And I have Isaiah, who is a PhD candidate in Detroit, Michigan, who also came on the call. So I'm still going to invite Mata Jackson. That's Sheung. I'm going to invite him. I'm going to invite Victor, who has now, he didn't only finish in Russia, now he has gone to Malaysia, and I don't know whether I started his PhD already, but
Yeah, he's already, yeah, it's the second year PhD.
his second year PhD already. Can you imagine that?
Yes.
And Victor will tell you how he bought a one-way ticket to leave Nigeria. One way. Usually, if you buy two-way, he told them at the airport, he said, "You should not destroy my life. I'm going." And he left, and his life transformed as a result of that.
That's
I'm talking about
it.
radical mindsets just to be able to do stuff within the confines of legality, of course. So
Exactly.
we continue to share these things with you. There's another link there, which is the link of our class, our data science and AI class that will be starting in March. You heard him talk about specialty skills. Yes, you can go on and be outstanding. There's no one way in this issue. There are a variety of
That's
ways.
true.
We have shared 4 pathways. But if you want to follow the path of that specialty skills, we have an immersion program, and I put the link there. This is not an information session, so I won't answer much questions about that. But if you register on that page, which is free, you'll be invited to an information session that is specifically focused on that. But today, Shegun, you've done so well, and I have so many doctors now, doctor friends. I'm thinking about it, whether I should go on so I'm doing an engineering master's. Let me tell you a joke. I'm doing an engineering master's now.
Okay.
And I don't know how I forgot that I struggled with mathematics throughout FUTA. So I went to pick up an engineering master's in a very top school in the United States, and I felt like that's a good idea because I've been doing it.
That's true.
Man, they want to use maths to kill me. With my faculty advisor, thinking about dropping out of that particular program and applying my credits for a PhD that will focus on ethics and governance of AI. Let me continue to speak that I know how to speak. Instead of wrapping my head around the engineering in different.
That's true.
I don't envy some of you, my students who are on this call, who have to do that from an engineering standpoint. But yeah, that's what's going on. But this place gives you the flexibility to be able to make those changes. And for some of you who need context, I didn't come here to go to school. I came here as an entrepreneur. And then I realized I have free time on my hands and the opportunity to actually learn. And I started taking on other opportunities by myself. So now we got some questions. Please, Dr. Shegun, how can I apply for this general employment work visa? I studied agriculture in the university. Well, this is a general question. Maybe you try to answer it and it will help other people.
Well, all right. There's a website called Jobs Island, jobsisland.ie. It's a government website, so it's good that you sign up on that website. The reason why you should sign up on that website is that that is where all the jobs where they have tried to fill in Ireland and they can't find persons for it, that's where they post it. So it's called jobsisland.ie. I'll just check if I can give you the link quickly. I'll just see if I can post it in chat. If not, I can send it to Mr. Shola, who can post it later on. So I'll just check. I think it's jobsisland.ie or just jobs.ie. So Jobs Island. Yeah. So it is the government one I'm trying to kind of find. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one. Jobs.
the government of
Yeah.
Ireland websites will always end with IE, so be careful.
Yes, yeah, jobsisland.ie. Yeah, jobsisland.ie.
Just
That's it.
highlight
That's the
IE,
one.
right?
Yeah, yeah. So that's the one. So if you go there, sign up there. Any job you find there that's agricultural related, apply for it. Once you apply for that job, they will consider you even though you're a foreigner. So, but every other job, for example, tech jobs, you can apply directly. Yeah, if you apply to tech jobs, you can apply directly. Wherever you are on the face of the world, tech jobs will happily process your visa for you without any stress. So, but for agriculture, go to jobsisland.ie.
Fantastic. That's a fantastic response right there. So please continue to check out jobsisland.ie for different opportunities that are there. But as he has told you, for specialty skills and specialty occupations, it's super easy to just apply directly to that company, because applying with that company will give you like the it's not just one company. And if you want to do your resume correctly, you have to reach out to someone who can help you from a resume standpoint. In the immersion program, we support with resume rebuilding and all of that and all this kind of thing. So you need to apply to as many of those jobs as possible and start getting ready. So the guy who needs to get a job in Ireland this year will not apply to 10 jobs in Ireland and stop.
That's all. That's all.
He's going to apply to 100, 150 jobs in Ireland.
Definitely,
And of
definitely.
course, he will get not one resume fits all. He will design a resume for each of those jobs. He will stay awake for several nights. And when his testimony comes, he will forget all those days. I'm telling you the truth. So the reality is there. Nobody is going to just drop it on your laps. Even the agent, if he could get the job in Ireland by himself, he will be living in Ireland by now. So why is he trying to collect 1 million to get you a job in Ireland when he himself could be in Ireland himself? So think about that. That should be something we all think about. So, but when people like this come on the call to show you potentially what is possible, I'll be able to tell you how exactly you can get this done, by just telling you the way out, the specific way out. This is it. Now, we have an exclusive mentoring group with some of you on the Zoom are already there. If you have questions, what I've been trying to do is I've been adding some of my team, my friends, my mentors who are free, to answer questions as well. And then I make personal connections for those on the exclusive. If you have a call with Mr. Shegun or with anyone on their own terms, with their time, with their availability, all those kind of things happen. You also get chance to get access to replays and all those kind of things like that. But unfortunately, this is not available in the free group which most of you are on. So I want to encourage as many of you as possible to ask for how to join this group, because that will definitely help you. Dr. Shegun, I don't know if you can still hear us. Your video is frozen.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your video is frozen. I don't know if it's from my own end or it's from
Okay. Yeah, it's my PC is slowing down a bit, so I'm just trying to close some of my tabs. Yeah.
I'm sure they can hear you. So,
Okay.
someone is what site has more information on the researcher hosting via researcher hosting agreement visa?
Yeah, just it should just Google it. It should just Google Irish researcher hosting agreement visa. So, or you can Google iua.ie. iua.ie. Yes, .ie.
IE, okay? Now,
Yes, please.
anytime I tell people on my group, the 6,000 people group, about going to Google something, they find it really offensive. There are people who they will ask you a question and you say, can you try and Google it? And they're like, what you're trying to tell them is that you don't want to answer them. But hey, one of the most important skills you have to learn is how to Google stuff. Because many times people ask me questions on the group. I mean, you can't possibly imagine that I know about 100 countries of the world. But when you ask me a question about something, I carry that same question query, I put it on Google, and what I do is I filter to see which one answers your question the most, and then I share with you, and they're like, this guy is a wizard, but basically it's not. What you need is Google. So this researcher agreement, check it out. You might be the one sharing it with the rest of the group and say, this week I started my application for the researcher hosting program for Ireland, and I want you guys as well to take a look at it. That kind of thing. That's how we build a community that keeps helping each other. Gentlemen here Dr. Shegun here did not go for a training on how to help other people migrate to Ireland. No, he traveled the
No.
journey by himself and as such became the kind of person that can help other people. So it's like you become somebody who has received help to help others, blessed to bless others, comforted to comfort others. You now become a shoulder to lean on and you provide support to other people. Yobosai Wadai that you talked about, who is a doctor today, was a major inspiration for many of us on campus, even though we were friends. It was a
That's
major
true.
inspiration. And now she moved, and then she did not only move, she remembered to call other people. And you know what today does? She did a comment on our post on Facebook, just saying that I'm sorry about what you and Shegun are doing. And that's the first time I will hear from her in like maybe 3, 4, 5 years, actually. Because, and she mentioned the word Sheshola, your work is a succor for several other people. And I'm excited. Let me give you some testimonials. In this our program, do you know that there are people that they've gotten a work permit in the past week? Somebody got on the work permit and went to the UK. Another one is already getting ready to pack his load. The other person just is finalizing his interview in Poland, and they're already talking about filing for him. And a bunch of people who have resumed in school, moved to Canada, get into the express entry pool. Today is not for Canada, this is for Ireland. But if you are here, you have not watched any of my webinars before, you are new, you're like, these guys seem to be making sense. The webinar replays are available. Go to that Jackpot Insider page. You will see the free ones. Then there are 2 major webinars I've done as well. One in November, one in January. They are great. They are giving us bonus when you get like the relocation bundle or any item on that website that I've given you, because we just want you to be committed. You're already going out there, buying food, buying meals, buying clothes, spending for girls, doing all kinds of things already with your money and spending for boys the other way around. You've been doing all of these things with your money, buying 150,000 naira air. This time around, we're saying invest in a material that is going to help you. So the relocation bundle is still available. The link you need is the same Jackpot Insider link, and you can get access to all of these tools and resources. But keep in touch, stay in touch, even in that Telegram group. I will open that Telegram group once we are done right now. Someone asked a question for the skills program, for the special skills program. Would they allow my wife and kid? Absolutely. Ireland, as Shegun has told us, has a special skills program. The UK has as well. The US has as well. I'm on the one for the US, and yes, they will allow your spouse and kids. If by the end of the immersion program, one gets a job as a data scientist from Nigeria, does that visa allow them to bring their spouse? Yes, that's a special skill. So as a data scientist, that visa allows you, because you will be earning more than $22,000, 22,000 euros, obviously. A data scientist salary starting in Ireland, in Germany, will be somewhere around 60 to 70,000 euros. So that's already more than the 22,000 euros that the gentleman talked about. Is there a scholarship program for a master's program? Yeah, that question is a very generic question. He has told you there are scholarships programs everywhere. You just need to keep searching. And of course, on the group, if you can ask maybe as well, we can post a few links for you. But if you just search Ireland scholarship programs, you will see more than 30. But don't apply for 2 and say I've applied, I want to be praying on that one. No, apply for all the 30 you find. Do you understand what I'm saying? We're talking about tenacity here. If you don't learn anything today, learn about tenacity. A friend of mine got a job, a connection on LinkedIn, actually. We're not directly friends. Got a job at, I think, maybe Microsoft or one of the top companies in Germany or so. And he wrote a testimonial on LinkedIn that he applied to 500 roles. Am I saying you applied 500 jobs? No, but you heard Shegun just say he applied it. He even lost count. He was putting in 5 applications per day, right? Another friend of ours here in the US applied 80 roles. He did 80 different roles, 80 different role applications before he finally got called, to be able to move on. Of course, sometimes some of us didn't do that much. Like in Nigeria, I applied for maybe about 10 different jobs: Google, Facebook, Oracle. Some of them I got to interview stage before I eventually landed my Microsoft role. So these stories are there. They're stories of tenacity, of grit, of personal commitment for whatever it is you want to do. I'll be rounding it up now because I promised not to delay you guys. And obviously, I want to get on to something else as well. So I want to take a few questions that are from YouTube right now. I work in tech company as an operations expert. How would I know the critical skills visa? Does it help me to move my family? Yes, it helps to move your family, but operations expert in what? I need to know what you're doing as an operations expert. That's what's going to help. But if you are on this call, there's a chance that you are already on our Telegram group. So you can ask most of those questions on the Telegram group. But what you need to know is that we're here to help. And unfortunately, we can't do a 6 hours webinar answering questions. people by themselves will complain and say, why are you making it this long? So we've tried to share a lot of information, compressed it into such a short time. What will you recommend for a family of 5, 2 adults and 3 children that wants to relocate to Ireland? Come on now, fix that question into the 4 different, pathways that the gentleman has shared, and ask yourself which one works for it. If you already have 2 adults and 3 children, then a student visa might not be a really good idea, except you want to go alone first. Because even if you go with your wife and children, as he said, they won't be able to work with the post-study visa. But if you're in a specialty occupation, maybe you should go and do data science and AI, or do conversational AI, or do chatbot engineering. I've put the links right there for you to be able to get on those programs, okay? Because if you do that, that can give you a specialty job right from Nigeria to Ireland, and that will then position you for what you are looking for, all right? So that can help you, okay? But even if you are hosted researcher as well, you will also get that opportunity to be able to bring your family, because it's like a full-time job as well. So you can take advantage of that as well. I think my guest dropped off. I think maybe his laptop was freezing. Sometimes Zoom does that to you. But you all will agree with me that it's been a very terrific session. Today, I just shared on YouTube the link for the 2021 immersion program. We have a cloud and AI weekend coming on this weekend for free. I think it will be spotlighted on the website soon, or you can drop me an email if you have any question, or just ask on the Telegram. Don't drop me an email. Ask on the Telegram group what the link is for the cloud and AI weekend. Is completely free. That will give you cloud engineering is a specialty role as well. So that can help you with your family. But also we're having the opportunities to be part of like the chatbot engineering program and the data science program, all of that starting the month of March. There's a class going on right now. So I think it's been a terrific day doing this. Close to 200 of you, doing this. There's some of you that I have no doubt you will do great in life. David Adejumo, all of you guys, I'm sorry for calling you out like that, but I have no doubt, because you're always committed, you're always here. Or Kewa, where here, you guys are always on the calls. Judith, you're always trying to learn. So when you're sharing your testimony, just make sure you are not hearers alone, you are doers. Just make sure you keep doing stuff. Make sure you keep working on these things. And I believe that will go a long way in positioning you for the greatness. And I look forward to hearing your testimonies soon. I will share with Sasha Seriki as well sometime soon. Go on and follow us on Instagram at Move Me in 12 months, at Move Me in 12 months. And then follow me as well. Maybe you already follow me already at Olushola Muson to get more information as time goes on. Well, there will always be COVID restrictions everywhere, but with vaccination going on, once you get your vaccination, that can help. Also, they would have COVID tests that you would need to do. So no company around the world after 2020, after what happened in 2020, is actually allowing COVID to stop them completely. So there are people still filing every day, moving every day. Don't let COVID restrict you, for those who are asking me about COVID. So once again, God bless you. I'll be stopping the Zoom call right now. And then the YouTube link will linger for a little more because of the few minutes of lag, but it's been a brilliant time being with everybody today. And it's amazingly terrific, to be able to be here. Okay, so everyone, thanks again for coming on the session. And we definitely look forward to connecting with you on the Telegram sessions going forward. Have a good one now. Bye-bye.